in a row.
Oh, look, there's Charlie.
Let's hit the like button, hit that thumbs up, hit that share button. Charlie Robinson is in the building.
Ladies and gentlemen, the host
Charlie.
of the Macroaggressions podcast, one of the four horsemen of the Union of the Unwanted. He's got another show called 0 Day, I believe. I think I'm saying that right. Bring him up, please, so I can be properly scolded if I'm wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Robinson, best-selling author. Jesus, man, this guy, he's too good for us, possibly.
I have to. Is this what we do?
Your AM wake up,
so that we don't trigger people instead of clapping.
We go like this.
Is it?
No. Hi, everybody. My name's Charlie. My pronouns are he, him. I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Thank you.
For our blind viewers out there or whatever.
Can you please put your mask on when you're talking to the microphone, Charlie?
You properly sanitize the microphone.
I hope so.
Yes. How are you guys?
Oh man,
it's been a long time.
Little loopy, man. We went out and saw some stand up last night. Didn't get home till way past our bedtime.
That's okay.
Yeah. Got to go see Brett Ernst go do some stand up. Funny gentleman. This is a guy. We had him in the studio in Sam Tripoli, where you are. And Brett gets very, very animated about some things about American history that have been proven to be much, much more popular culture myths.
Well, don't take a shot on him when he's not here.
But, no, it's just this is someone who like I have personally triggered. This is where I'm headed with this.
Yeah.
We had a very lovely, very civil, like back and forth. No harm, no foul. Everybody liked.
Not when he was on the show.
Well, he didn't. He hadn't fully been broken in yet.
The landlord is next to us there. I got a little talking that day about, hey guys, there's a lot of energy coming from there that room today. We're like, yeah,
banged on the wall like we were in a Queens apartment complex, Charlie. So.
Hey, shut up over there. Right? Trying to learn about American history from some guys on the internet.
Well,
I'll tell you what, though.
Brett should watch our shows, by the way. I just want to say he is friends with people that we know, friends with you. Him and Sam go way back, comedians. He should watch our show to get a little bit of understanding where we come from when it comes to history. Go ahead, Charlie. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, we go through years and years of schooling in government schools that are in control of the textbooks, and the teachers are told what they're supposed to say, and then we're supposed to regurgitate it. I mean, look, it's amazing that anybody has this figured out. I don't fault really the people that never broke away from that indoctrination. They didn't know any better. They just that's what they were told. That's what they were instructed, that if they give the correct answer, meaning the answer the teacher wants, about how history, about what World War II was, that then you can pass on to the next grade, and you got to do that. But it's like, I realized after leaving school that everything that I had to unlearn just about everything I thought I knew, especially about history and things like that, and relearn a new version of it. And even still, I'm relearning over and over again. There's things that I believe that are true right now, that at some point in my life I will come to new information and I will say, well, wait a second, that's actually not true. I have to, change my view. So I feel like as long as people give themselves the ability, the flexibility to change their mind, if they're presented with new information that contradicts what they previously believed, but it's better information, it's accurate information, you got to be flexible. You got to be able to say, well, look, I used to believe that and that's what I knew. That's what I thought based on what I was told at that time. New information arrives. I now see the world a little bit differently. Got to have that flexibility. But the problem is when people get too rigid and too defensive of that belief that they've had, and they want to argue or fight with you about it. It's not even so much about you. It's just about you're challenging something that's very comfortable to them, something that's been with them forever. This is how the world works. I know how to operate within this paradigm. And if you start messing with that, well, now I don't know how to operate. And now I got to rethink everything. And that's a big task. So you'll get people that want to fight sometimes, want to argue with you about this. It's important for them to defend their their beliefs on that, even if their beliefs are outdated and just flat out wrong. So it's been a trip to watch this process. But I've got, but we're always the first to go through the process. I've had to go through this too. I've defended my stupid beliefs before, and then had someone say, no, this is wrong. It's this way. And you could look at it and you go, oh God, I think it is that way. You're right. Well, that's okay. We're allowed to we're evolving. Hell, we've been under constant indoctrination. So we get a bit of a free pass, get based on how we were taught. But at this point now, with all the information available and all the media available, remaining ignorant, I feel, is a choice.
Yeah. Steve kind of hits on that all the time too, as well. When I said, well, these people are emotionally invested, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've been taught. They really are emotionally invested in, what the history, the empire education we talked about. But there is so much information in front of you, that it's time. Because the one thing that's always certain, and I think, Charlie, first of all, the approach is that you're taking to is the proper approach, because that's how we get across to people when we're patient with them.
Yeah.
We understand that we went through a similar process ourselves, that we should allow these people go through the same process. Just because they're not seeing it the way we see it right now, we have to be patient about that. And like you said, plant little seeds.
He's saying all of this like he wasn't screaming his head off on the phone yesterday, because that's how the person on the other end of the phone communicates too. So I'm not faulting.
But we're patient with them, aren't we? At the end of the day, we know we can't build Rome in one day. Go ahead, Charlie.
I've done it too, though. I've got into the yelling, like, you're stupid, like, open your eyes. I've done all that stuff. I've had it done to me. I've done it to other people. I brought up 9/11 at Thanksgiving dinner and watched the entire table turn against me. I've done all the wrong things. I've fire hosed information onto some poor bastard that didn't want it, wasn't asking for it. And I've done all the wrong things. And that's the only reason why I have found better ways of dealing with it, is because I've made I've stepped on every rake you can step on with regard to trying to get this information across. And in the end, I've come to this sort of like, maybe it's just getting older, or maybe I feel like we have less time, but I'm in this mode now where it's like, I'm here, I'm available. I'll talk to you about whatever you want to talk about, whatever sort of avenue you want to get off on. You want to talk about 9/11 or vaccines or what, I'll sit here. I'll give you everything I got. But if you just want to argue with me, or you just want to call me a conspiracy theorist, you just want to tell me I'm stupid or whatever, after I've written multiple books with thousands of, 1,300 pages of books with 1,000 footnotes, I'm just not interested in the argument. If you're, because if you want to drag me into a debate, I will probably just bring a bunch of information with me, and it'll get ugly fast. And I don't want to do that, though. It's emotionally draining. And so I'm feeling like, given where we are right now, the problems that that we're currently experiencing, the things that we see coming on the horizon, I have to prioritize my energy, my time, my sanity, all this stuff. And so I'm going, all right, fine. If you want to fight or argue or call me stupid, that's your prerogative. That's fine. But I'm not going to engage too much in that, because it just grinds me down. And I'd rather focus and prioritize on the people that are interested or wanting to know more about it, than trying to convince somebody that whose life depends on not being convinced, whose job depends on not being convinced, who's paid to not understand what you need them to understand. Those people, good luck to you. I can't.
People who think they have choice. They don't understand decisions are being made for them. And if they don't fucking wake up, it's like George Carlin said, the American dream, but you got to be asleep. You gotta be asleep. And I get it. We want to concentrate on those who, want the information, but it's sometimes is hard butting heads with those who continue to think that what they were taught is the real thing.
I just go, I have a problem where I'll just go full metal autist.
We all get there.
And just all of the story will come out, and I will oversaturate the room with, a 20, 25 year, 30-year study of whatever particular subject it is. And then they're just going, I don't even know what to do. And so it reverts back to, okay, well, you understand how systems work, right? And it's like, motherfucker, I just gave you 7 dissertations in 2.5 minutes. Yeah, I think I've got the nuts and bolts of this, you know?
Yeah. And I'll tell you where I've made the most progress when it comes to having these unusual conversations with people, and again, it came from trial and error. But what I've found, and it's kind of an amazing discovery because it's so simple. But I've found that when you ask those people a question, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about a Biden administration? What do you think about Nancy Pelosi dragging her son to Taiwan with her? And they go, I didn't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Or I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. And you get them to start verbalizing it or think it. You start asking them questions and make it a dialogue instead of a monologue. And you start to draw them out with questions. What you discover is that they haven't questioned any of it. They might not even know about it, but they certainly haven't questioned it. And when you get them to start talking it out loud, you go, what do you think about that? And they say, blah, blah, and you go, doesn't that sound kind of crazy to you? And they go, oh yeah, I guess it does kind of seem crazy to me. And you go, you're on to something, so that has been way more effective to me than like, sit down, I'm going to tell you about 9/11 from start to finish and like bombarding some poor bastard with all this information. And they just go, you sound passionate, but also kind of crazy. And I'm just, I just wanted to get directions to the mall. And you're like, listen, I'm going to tell you what's going on. So I have toned it down.
Let me tell you about the Federal Reserve.
Let me tell you about the Federal Reserve. I've toned it down. I don't go to the document cam as much as I used to these days. So
talk about Nancy Pelosi's son going there. I mean, god damn, they don't even give a fucking damn. People don't even talk about the fact that Paul Pelosi, that's junior, had a business in the Ukraine for many years, since like 2015, 2016. Invested in oil. And now here he is going around with mommy again.
Well, he
the same Hunter Biden shit, right? It's like same shit.
It is. And the same with Root or Branch or Tag or him or whatever one of Mitt Romney's kids was wrapped up in the Burisma thing too. Like it's all, they're all in on this shit. And I said something on Twitter about like, well, I mean, if you're, in your 80s and you're about to be investigated for insider trading, maybe you should step away from making those deals on your official state trips and turn the the torch over to your kid Junior, your 53-year-old kid Junior.
Yeah.
John
Kerry's Scott's son too, right? Was involved. And yeah. I mean, it was a little odd to see, Mitt turn down the chance to push the warmongering on the other end. Like, I would have been nice to see him standing up there with John McCain and Lindsey Graham with Nazis back in 2008 and, pushing it from that end, that we got your back, guys. Let's go. Come on. We got to pour it on when it comes to Ukraine.
Mitt Romney does not go on those kinds of boys' trips.
Gotcha.
Mitt Romney has binders filled with women, though. Let's not forget about that.
Binders full of women and roof racks full of puppies.
I was gonna say he puts the dog on the top of the car. Poor bastard.
Yeah, he pulled a Clark W. Griswold at one point in his life,
and
which might have made him the most, like, I don't know. It shined like a little bit of humanity on him, like a guy that made a mistake. Because otherwise, I mean, if someone came out and told me, like, listen, like, just between you and me, Mitt Romney is a animatronic humanoid robot, I would be like, oh, that makes total sense. Now
look at that hair.
Exactly. He's got Lego hair. And so says the guy who's totally bald. At least I don't have Brett Baer's snap-on Lego hair. That's all I'm saying. So these people are psychotics, and we've normalized their grifting. Like the fact that all these people have kids that are sitting on boards of directors of Ukrainian energy companies. We're like, oh, that's totally normal. No, it's not normal. It happens, but it's not all right. It's not. We shouldn't be allowing stuff like this. Paul Pelosi is just going to tag along with mom to go to Taiwan. What? Are you out of your fucking mind? That can't happen under any circumstances.
Yeah.
So, it's and of course, if you point this out, you just go, look at this. They go, what are you, Trump fan? You're like,
okay, but
Hunter Biden's not the president, Steve.
let's
Charlie.
examine. Is Paul Pelosi the Speaker of the House?
Does Paul Pelosi have power?
It's perceived power and it's financial leverage, so more than you, substantially, yes.
Well, does he have a background in Ukrainian energy or energy in general? No.
Well,
so
but
then
he's
it must be his connection to his mummy. Mummy.
I mean,
Does Paul Pelosi Jr. sweat? I wonder.
got that same thing that Prince Andrew does, where they
Mummy.
don't.
I need you to pay off my legal fees for raping the pores.
Right. Yeah.
We're not close friends, me and Epstein, but I thought it was important to go fly to New York to tell him personally.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Got it, Andrew. Asshole
Hey, Connor,
Andrew.
will you bring up the article that was in the next article of this is okay. So first of all, shout out to Orwell Huxley for thinking of me when she saw this article, sent it to me on the tweeters, and I was like, "Aw, you get the show." She's in
the chat too right now, hanging out.
All right. So this is a thing. This is a real thing. In the doc, it's titled "The Bug Eaters Were Gonna Have Shit Breath Anyway." Humans could breathe out of their buttholes like pigs, and trials will begin this year.
Thank you. I'm done. Bye bye. I'd stop this planet.
Yeah,
I'd like to get off.
I'm with Charlie Robinson.
That's it. I'm with you. I'm leaving. I'm with Charlie. I'm gone. That's it.
It's
Out of here.
Our work is done here.
Vice did a whole story on it. Got a blocked nose. Don't worry, you'll have another option. Yeah. In studies exploring treatment for people with respiratory conditions, a team of researchers in Japan has revealed that pigs can absorb oxygen through the anus. According to Vice World News, scientists discovered that the animals could survive without breathing through their lungs when oxygen and oxygenated liquid are pumped through their buttholes into their intestines.
All right, so they're gonna start.
You can pull the article.
They're gonna start fucking pumping people with liquid oxygen, like the movie Abyss.
This when we talk about you're going to be hooked up to a feeding tube and your job and your world and your whole life is going to be in the metaverse. This is how you're going to breathe through your butthole, buddy.
They're gonna plug a plug right into your ass while you're in the machine in your Oculus.
They're burying the lead here. I didn't realize pigs could breathe through their assholes. That's a fascinating topic. I don't know what it's good for, but
you would kind of.
I don't believe they can.
On a level, it makes sense because if they draw in air through their nose or their mouth and they're constantly rooting, there would have to be some sort of method by which they could breathe if their nose and their mouth are constantly like clogged up with mud or whatever. And I mean, it does on a level make sense.
Yeah. We should all embrace it. There's an article written about it, so we should all get on board with doing it, just like eating the bugs. And
this is where we're at here in the morning.
What's your favorite bug, Steve?
A 1957 Volkswagen. Yes.
Oh, got it.
Yes. Jeebus, man, this is wild, dude. It lends itself to that, like the whole Soylent feeding tube thing. It really does, and I want to know who responded to the ad or the posting for assistant in this experiment where the lead researchers were like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take pigs. We're going to cut off all of the oxygen from around their head, and we're going to shove a tube in its butt to see if we feed it the right kind of liquid, it can breathe. Who wants to grease the pig?
Let's get those interns in here.
Right?
You want to make it?
Who wants some credit today?
Grab a keg of KY and get to work.
Like the human centipede or thing like that, where they were breathing through asses, through mouths. So they're already kind of like set the table.
The comet is on its way. Clearly, it's inbound as we speak.
Are you sure? Because if it
I
can
hope.
get here sooner,
If there's any fucking justice, that comment is on its way.
The 10th planet will pull up. The Anunnaki will get off, and they'll be like, "And you're done."
3,600 years ago, we were here. Everything was cool. We come back now. What the hell has happened?
what did you do?
We gave you Atlantis, and you turned it into ass breathing.
Right.
Yeah.
And TikTok videos.
And
Congratulations. We're gonna have to have one of those great floods again. This isn't working for us. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Well, hey, you guys in Vegas, my former hometown, there's always construction news. There's always things going up. This casino's changing hands. This one's, we're going to build Oakland A's. We might build a place there. Yeah. Let's talk about the barrels filled with people that are showing up in Lake Mead. That's pretty awesome. Not like we didn't know that was going to happen.
I keep telling Pasta we got to go dead.
There was 2 people. Okay,
we're at Freedom Fest a couple of weeks ago, and we're in the smoke circle with the fellas from the Libertarian Institute, and the dead body fishing came up, and Kyle Angelone's like, "There's only 2 bodies. Like, you don't need to get excited." And I'm like,
2 bodies now.
You've only read about 2 bodies. I was like, meat over there, buddy. I don't think you understand, And so when they found a couple of more washed up, I tagged him on Twitter. I'm like, who's laughing now, Kyle?
So I've got a good Vegas sort of rumor mill story that has to do with dead bodies and also pigs, since we were just talking about this. So for many years, I lived in Las Vegas and sold new homes. And there's an area in North Las Vegas around a place called the Pig Farm. It was a pig farm back in the 50s and 60s. Well, it still is, or I think it's done now, but it was a pig farm that was far away from the city, and then the city grew around it, and I'm selling new homes in this area. And if you were outside and the wind was blowing the wrong direction, you weren't going to get a sale. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. But he had this huge piece of land, and all the builders wanted it because it was a pretty good spot considering in North Las Vegas. And it'd be helpful if it didn't smell like pigs. And it is a very, very unique smell that is stomach turning. Like, it's not even, and I've been told it's not even so much the pigs that makes it smell, it's the food, and it's all the excess food from the casinos gets taken there. And so anyway, we, working in real estate, we always wondered, like, what's going to happen with the pig farm. And this is rumor too. I don't want to get anybody in any trouble. It's just say that this was the rumor that was happening. And this old man would never sell this land. And the rumors were, it was like, well, I don't even know if it was a rumor. I think he was offered over $100 million for the land, wouldn't sell it. And everyone's like, what is going on? The rumor was, look, you can't sell that pig farm to developers because they're going to have to get their land development crews in there and start digging around. And the problem is, what they're going to find is that that's where the mob fed all the bodies, took the bodies to feed them, to give them to the pigs, because the pigs would eat it. And they said, if you excavate that place, it's going to be like a graveyard of sorts. And so I was like, oh shit, that would explain why you turned down $100 million for a piece of land in the middle of North Las Vegas that nobody wants anyway. To prevent you from going to prison. Now you see all these bodies showing up in barrels and everything. I'm like, man, I bet the pig farm, I bet it'd be like an entire season of CSI in there.
Well, wait, when the pigs eat, right? And I saw the movie Snatch, they eat everything, right?
They eat everything. Yeah. I don't know. There might not be anything left there.
But that doesn't mean that there weren't, some that got missed. That doesn't mean that there weren't some that got buried on the property. That doesn't mean that, there's all kinds of ways that can go sideways, even if the pig is destroying the vast majority of the evidence. You've still got like hair. You've still, there's stuff.
I'm sure there is.
There's stuff.
It's Vegas, it might just be a good story, but it seemed to make sense because nobody could understand why he was insistent on not selling that. And someone said maybe he doesn't want to go to prison. I thought that would be a good reason to not want to sell that. But anyway, that's Vegas for you.
I want to go explore the Elon Musk tunnels.
Ooh.
And here in Vegas. That's what I want to do.
I heard there were tunnels way before Elon Musk
I'm
and
sure
everything
there were.
was. So
I'm sure there were. And
isn't there this whole tunnel thing?
I'm
Yeah, there's
sure
like a tunnel life going on down there underneath the strip.
Yeah. And there's like high speed rail across the country underneath that's been used by
That I want to see.
I've heard about that shit. And
well,
that story.
From what I understand, the high speed rail itself doesn't come into Vegas.
No.
That it goes to one of the closer military.
Yeah, okay.
Not exactly bases, but just one of those installations where all you see is fence and a couple of Quonset huts, and then way back in the distance there's a little mountain that's a totally different color than all of the other mountains around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like that shit just always trips me out, especially if you're going up the 95 like between here and Reno, where it's just Mars and military bases. And it's
my old boss used to be a flight attendant on the Area 51 flights, the Janet Air flights. She'd go in and out of every day, there and back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the tunnels though underneath there? You think that they're there, Steve and Charlie? What have you guys heard about it?
Oh yeah. Oh, they're for sure. That's provable. You can watch videos of that, of guys driving through those tunnels. You drive for 100,000 miles. It connects to everything. I don't understand. They don't exactly print maps for you, but yeah, that's part of continuity of government too. They've been tunneling out that stuff for a while now. What freaks me out kind of more so than that is the non-governmental stuff. When you start talking about areas around Skinwalker Ranch where the natives are talking about ant people that live underground, that freaks me out. Like the people that are supposedly some other civilization down there, that really gets me going. I know the government's got underground, tunnels, freeway systems under the country. That has been documented for a long, long time. But the people that may or may not be living underground, that's something I'm fascinated. I don't have any information about them. I just know that there's, tales of that stuff. So
the continuity of government tunnel system though is wild, because there's the two big installations that are based like in Maryland and Northern Virginia. And then it goes from there out to somewhere in Ohio, and then out by NORAD.
I think it goes through Denver, right?
Yeah.
Does it come through Cheyenne Mountain area?
Well, there's an offshoot, but I know there's one that basically follows like 70.
Oh, really?
And there's
do we have like you said there's videos and stuff we can peep at?
You found videos of truckers that are filming themselves driving through that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Filming them going in and then just drive, and it's like driving through a big cave. Two lanes on going each direction. So it's not like a little ramshackled.
Who monitors that shit then? Is it like a military thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I don't know which branch.
And they can get around the whole country just underneath, right? Like, I mean, I heard stories there was a lot of trafficking going on of different things underground and whatnot.
Yeah.
Human trafficking, in fact. And
national parks have issues with that. I don't know if you've ever had.
I have heard about this.
Yeah.
But please elaborate with the national parks.
Well, that's a David Paulides missing 411 topic, and yeah, he's done a lot. I mean, they did a lot of they overlaid like where the map of missing Americans, put dots on all of that. Then they overlaid that on top of the map of all of the national parks, and they lined up pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've heard this before. Yeah.
So, and I don't pretend to know what's going on under those national parks. I did hear Paulides tells a story about people being in a place and hearing children screaming, "Help, help, help," and they couldn't figure out where they were, and they thought they were underground. I don't know.
Wow.
It's a secondhand story. It's me telling David Paulides' story, but his books, I think he's got 6 or 7 of them out already. very detailed, talking about doing FOIA requests and getting stonewalled by the government and asking for information, and the government saying, okay, we'll give you that information. It'll cost you $80,000. And he's like, what are you talking about? So in sheriff's departments being unwilling or, you know, to work with them on missing cases and things like that. Yeah. Really, really wild stuff.
I had a construction boss whose sister was really high up in the National Park Service, and I had to, like, the second or third time that he brought up her job while we were working, I'm like, bro, the next time you're with her, ask her what's up with the National Park Service and human trafficking. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and I went into it for a little bit, and then he went and, like, you know, he went and jumped down a research rabbit hole, and a bunch of YouTube videos later, like, got super freaked out and, like, called his sister freaking out about it, and she snapped on him.
Really?
I don't know where you think you heard that, but it's garbage, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of nonsense. There's been, like, just shut him down and obfuscated. And, like, now, like, they're on a small talk basis.
Yeah.
And, like, oh, hey, you know, where should I mail, you know, my nephew's blood? Is he going to be at camp when his birthday is coming up, or like what? And, like, that's the extent of their conversation, or a little bit of talk about how mom and the stepdad are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, there's something going on, and I'm not going to say that everybody that's, you know, working for the National Forest Service is or you know, in on it. Clearly they're not, but
Yeah.
but there's some shadiness around that. That's probably worth a real good investigation. Like I said,
if nothing else, there's a culture of silence around it, and there's a very, very, very strong reaction, because that's not an isolated story. I've had a number of different people when I lived in the Santa Cruz Mountains that worked for the State Park Service, a couple for the National Park Service, and there's just kind of like, it's almost like a thin blue line kind of thing about it.
And David Paulides was an ex-cop. And he so he knew the language, and he knew how to talk to these guys, and he told them, he was, I don't know if he was a cop or a sheriff or something. He was, you know, he was a guy that had done that for a while. So he spoke their language, and he was part of them, but he would still get stonewalled by these guys. They're asking, you know, he's asking them to provide databases and things like that. Like, you don't make lists of these things, people going missing. They're like, well, you know, maybe. I'm like, what?
Well, if we can find ID on them, you know, if people turn up.
We in the national park said, well, we can get you the list. I mean, okay, fine, we can get you the list. But then they said, like, it's going to cost you $80,000. He's like, why are you doing this? What? This doesn't make any sense. If I'm trying to look and find people that have gone missing, why are you making it difficult for me? And they're like, because we don't want you to dig around, I guess.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Hey, Connor, could you pull the clip that's under the ass breathing? Carbon weapon. Yeah, here we go. Because Charlie tweeted out about
the other ass breathing clip
the other morning after we had done a segment on, like, the carbon wallet and the carbon credits and all of that kind of stuff.
The stuff that really freaks you out.
And then last night or this morning, well, yeah, I've done among, you know, that and AI and
you're breathing too heavy today, sir.
Right. You have emitted too much carbon. You've already emitted your allotted amount of carbon.
No more oxygen for you
in
today,
your
sir.
hyperbaric chamber now, slave.
Pull the Garcetti. Hold your breath.
So let's roll this real
Imagine for a moment that you live your life in chains, except the difference is these chains are invisible. It's a world where every single daily choice you make is controlled by something you can't even see. A world where at any time your government could cut off your access to your own money just because you've driven a few too many miles. And a world where the poorest among us will be given more reasons to struggle, while those at the top continue to live life the way that they always have. The truth is, we could all be living in that world very soon. It's a world that is ruled above all by one thing: carbon. Imagine for a moment that
yeah. So just as the setup for that, but I mean, Charlie's something that we've been talking about for a while. I thought we might get into a conversation about it here on the program.
Yeah. You're the carbon they want to reduce, as they say. It's a big scam. It's not a new scam. It was dreamed up many, many years ago. I mean, at least 50 years ago, they put it in a book, The Limits to Growth by the Club of Rome, talking about using the pretext of global warming, the concept of global warming, as the reason to force people in. They're saying, look, mankind can't be. I'll pull up the quote itself. I've got it. But it basically says like, man needs a common enemy. And we've decided that climate change or the like would fit the bill, whether it's real or imagined for this purpose. And you're like, okay, so we're going to fake it. And it says, man needs a common enemy in order to fight against it and we're going to we'll get everyone together in this fight against global warming as the pretext for creating a one world government to help fight against this. And then we'll institute carbon taxes as the funding mechanism to finance this one world government. And it's like, that's not me like, smoking PCP and coming up with this idea. It's like, they wrote it in a book. They're very proud of it. It is their plan. They talk openly about it. They have these summits. They talk about how they're going to do it. And now we're starting to see it. I think it had always been that the technology hadn't caught up to the theory, but now the technology is there. Now the technology exists. Now you can put this theory into place, but you're going to need help. You're going to need the media. You're going to need fear. You've got another invisible enemy, just like terrorism or COVID or whatever. It's out there. It's carbon. It's small. It's out. It's everywhere. It's out there. It's going to kill you unless you give more taxes to the wrong people. And then they're going to, once you give taxes, then it's all good. And you go, okay, well, so you're going to go fix the carbon problem? They're like, what? Fix it. Like the Chappelle thing, where he knocks the glass of water over and runs, get out of here. Yeah. We never said anything about fix it. We're not going to fix it. We just said we were going to tax you. We're going to take all your money.
Yeah.
You made the assumption that we were going to fix it. There's nothing to fix. It's a perfect scam. There is no carbon problem. The Icelandic volcano throws more carbon up into the atmosphere than all of mankind activity combined. But it's perfect for a scam of this proportion because they're going to measure it with their satellites. Climate Trace is already talking about that. Eric Schmidt and Al Gore have already put this. They've got 300 satellites up right now. They're measuring carbon output. Countries first, then industry second, and then specific factories, airplanes, boats, whatever, next. And then, of course, you. And they're going to come up with a number for you. And then they set the allowable limit. The limit is, 100. Let's just say 100 units.
Yeah.
Your factory emits 110 units, and that's a problem. So you owe us a tax on that excess. But that factory next to you only emitted 85 units. So they have 15 extra units that they can carry forward, and we'll create a carbon marketplace where you can trade carbon exchanges, like cap and trade, like Enron. Yeah. And we can create this carbon marketplace. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Obama and Maurice Strong will create it in Chicago, which they did. So the carbon marketplace already exists.
Yep.
They'll sell these offsets. They'll make a gajillion dollars, and you'll own nothing and be happy.
Be happy. Yeah. Yeah.
The amount of I don't know, according to them, carbon damage done just on the most recent trip to Davos. Or wait a minute, what about the private jets that are going to go to that Rock Against Ukraine concert or Rock Against Russia concert that the Rolling Stones and the Cure and all those guys are playing? There's never any. I mean, Charlie talks about the volcano, and it's a fantastic point. But I mean, every military operation is putting out more carbon than we're using on the freeway
green
system.
Bombs, baby. Let's get there. We can do this.
We've got 1,000 military bases that we're allowed to know about, not counting forward operating bases, not counting lily pads. That I'm saying that we
don't even know about.
Yeah, but they don't count forward operating bases in that. They don't count lily pads in that. It's just, permanent structures.
Gotcha.
Is what they're considering a military base, and FOBs don't count because you can fold them out in a freaking afternoon.
Yeah.
And now you've got, a forward command center. It's still a military base. It just doesn't count. It's got all the equipment. It's got all the personnel. It's got everything is a military base. It just doesn't count.
Yeah. But you got to like it when Kirby goes, we just gave $8 billion since this whole thing started in weapons to the Ukraine. And then they go and talk about ESGs right after it. It's like, all that weaponry that you're giving him is kind of counterproductive to what you're pushing in this inflation tax reduction bullshit that has all this ESG money there too as well.
So here's what I always hear, Charlie, and I want to put this to you because I would love your take on it. What we always hear from like the commies when they're defending what China's Belt Road policy, when they're defending the measures that China takes against its own citizens, when they're defending the way that they leverage loans instead of bombing the shit out of somebody and then arming both sides in a conflict like the US does foreign policy, is that, well, this is all in a reaction to the West. And if the West would just crumble, then surely China would be benevolent. This is the exact same headspace that I get from like all of my friends in Ancapistan and all of my agorist friends and all of my friends on the right, is that, well, okay, as long as we get rid of the Larry Finks, as long as we get rid of the Bill Gateses and the Klaus Schwabs, then the good billionaires can come in and they're not going to have anything to do with this ESG nonsense, and they're not going to have anything to do with any of this, one world governance shit. Meanwhile, they're like, we're literally going to enslave you in the metaverse and sell your children to our moon base.
Right. So pick your form of slavery. Do you want to be enslaved by carbon taxes and ESG scores, or do you want to be enslaved by technology and the metaverse and all of that? Look, it'd be great if those guys went away. The ESG, World Economic Forum guys, they need to go away for sure. But I am not pretending that would just magically solve all the problems. We still have some big new people. Look, psychopaths are drawn to this. They're drawn to like flies or like bugs to a light, a bright light. They see money, they see power. In government, they see no accountability. No, they're not going to hold it. You're going to draw in the absolute worst people in the world. CEOs too. People that rise up the corporate ladder are typically people that don't worry so much about how they're being perceived on their rise up the ladder, or maybe they're pushed up because they have the same ideology that allows them to sort of flow to those higher powers. So you wind up with sociopathic or psychopathic people in positions of power all over the place, and that mentality doesn't change. So let's get rid of the Klaus Schwabs and the Bill Gates and the Larry Finks and all that, and I'm 100% in favor of that. But let's not pretend that vacuum won't be filled by new psychopaths with a different idea of way to go. So there's no end. This is a never-ending fight against this stuff, because you just, it's like pick your bad guy. They're actually, if you think about it, though it is a dangerous take, but if you think about it, it might almost be better to have the Klaus Schwab guys in there, because they're so obviously cartoonish in what they want and how they're acting, as opposed to somebody like Elon Musk, who is more devious, and he looks like the good guy. He talks like the good guy from time to time. He says the things that the good guy says and calls out the bad guy a lot of times, and you go, oh, that's the good guy. That guy, if he goes real bad, is way more dangerous than Klaus Schwab, because Klaus Schwab is a cartoon character dressed as Emperor Palpatine. And so you have to be very careful who if you replace these bad guys with new bad guys, just make sure that you know what the new bad guys want and how they're going to do it, because they may have a plan that they may be learning. Oh, don't do it like the World Economic Forum did. They were too obvious about this stuff. Instead, don't sell them the people you'll own nothing and be happy. That's crazy. No, let's tell them you'll own everything and be happy. Let's do it that way, and then get them in there, and then slam the digital prison doors down around them and lock them out. So I don't know. Probably the main focus right now should be these maniacs pushing ESG and the World Economic Forum and all those guys, because they definitely have bad plans. But if you were to be successful in extracting them out of this situation, don't kid yourself that it's going to be unicorns and rainbows, because it's just waiting for a new batch of super villains to inject themselves in.
Well, and they've already partnered with the FDA, and they've already partnered with a bunch of other health organizations in terms of like stepping in to replace the now debunked SSRIs and to have the cure for the opioid crisis. And they've got something better than Xanax and all that kind of shit. And it's still plugging you right back into the metaverse and giving you synthetic psychedelics and calling it therapy,
where you can now breathe out of your ass.
Where you
True.
can, yeah, I mean, you can be, well, they can put you in a sensory deprivation tank anyway. They can put you in the Joe Rogan float tank and then slap some augmented reality goggles on you.
So what do you want? Do you want 1984 or Brave New World?
Right. Room 101 or Soma.
Right.
Or how about neither? Can we do neither?
I'm I have, like, I'm the guy raising my hand. How about none of the above? How about that? How about D? None of the above. I don't want any of this stuff. I don't need these people to improve the pharmacy. Take this pill, we'll be able to track everything that's going on inside of you. I'm all for technology. I'm all for advancements. I'm not against that. I'm not Amish. I might have the beard, but I'm not Amish. I'm not very good with my hands or like woodworking, so I would be banished. Ezekiel would banish me. But so I'm not against technology, but shit, can we at least like put the right people in charge of it? Because some of the things that they're going, oh, well, look, we've invented this CERN technology. Isn't this great? We're like, what do you guys plan on doing with it? We're going to open parallel dimensions and drag information back. Like, let's not do that. Cool that you can do it. Sounds interesting. Very science fiction. Can we not do that? That sounds like a really bad idea to me.
No. But you don't understand. We've got this thing that goes around really, really fast. And at the universe fabric tearing level, we can make things smash into each other. And we just so happen to build it on top of this portal and have this really weird demonic opening ceremony thing.
I saw the opening ceremony. I saw the advertisement. I'm good. I'll pass.
We played it on the show. We played like 15-20 minutes of it throughout the course of the show one day, and it was just one of the most like wild, disturbing, simultaneously just a river of material for jokes. Like, oh,
I feel like you got to watch that with like Jay Dyer or right? Isaac Weishaupt, somebody that's really good at the signs and the symbols and all that stuff. Like, I would love to. Jay Dyer should do like a Super Bowl watch along party, but not for the game, just for the halftime show. He'll be like, "Oh, here we're bringing in. This is a occultic ritual, which is calling Satan to give the Patriots diarrhea." And you're like, "Holy shit!" Like at the halftime show, they're doing that. So there's so much going on. The CERN thing bothered me, the opening ceremonies, but look, I like science. I'm interested in technology, but when you blend these scientists with the occultists and they start all working together, I get this Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard, JPL vibe where I go, are you guys trying to like launch rockets? Or are you trying to summon the devil? Like, what are you doing? Or are you trying to do both? So technology is fine. but the wrong people seem to be in charge of it, or at least regulating it. And I don't know. I think we
Well,
might be
and
heading in the wrong
you've got
direction.
the super weird ritualistic scientists, and then you've got the modern like Gnostic alchemists who think that the real lead to gold is human to transhuman.
Mm.
And that the gold is the immortality and the life in the cloud. And that's that when those two worlds collide is when it's particularly creepy to me. Yeah.
With everything going on with CERN, I couldn't understand myself. Like, was it a bit, or is he being serious over here with Steve when we were talking about it? Because it's like, okay, he's just joking around, he's exaggerating the marmot, all this shit. And then you see the saying that the marmot got into the collider the first time, and that's what kind of spun us out into the most dumbest fucking reality possible.
It's certainly
And you're
dumb.
like, okay, Steve, that's a good bit. But then when you start seeing them doing the fucking dances and shit, and then jacking this collider all up and what they're trying to do, I'm like, Steve, this isn't a bit. This is fucking real over here. These
Well,
assholes are like.
And then we found out that the actual weasel that got into the collider that fried out and made it do the hard reset was part of an art project and is like on display in a museum somewhere. You can go see the CERN weasel, and it's all, like, bro.
Like, your tagline of "we live in a fucking cartoon" is so true sometimes that it makes me I feel like, okay, well, I mean, I got a good sense of humor. I kind of respect the universe fucking with me a little bit. I mean, I kind of, like, as a nod to you, like, that was crazy. Yes, you're good. I can appreciate the insanity of it all, but we do need to live through it.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. And the people that are in charge of, whether it's the technology or the media or your money or whatever, they're the worst people in the world, of course. And so by default, everything is just a poor version of how much better it could be. And it always bothers me because I think about all the time and effort these people invest, and money, into making these products or making these projects or building this out or spending $1 trillion on our military. And like, all of that time, effort, energy could go into making the world better, even if just a fraction of, even if you just use that money, even if you just didn't make it worse, just don't do anything. Doing nothing would be better than what they're doing currently. But that it's so frustrating because you've got all these people, all this energy being expended for the wrong stuff. And the people then that get worked up about global warming and everything. Oh my God, we're all going to die. All that fear and all that energy they're expending could be used for literally, go pick your kids up. Go take that time and spend it with your kids. The world would be a much better place than you worrying about dying from climate change or gluing yourself to the fucking Mona Lisa or whatever you're doing. So all that stuff is performance art bullshit. But it's funny to us because we're sitting in the bleachers just throwing rocks at them, and it's funny to us. But ultimately, it's a colossal waste of time and energy that could be spent making actual changes to this world instead of I'm going to buy an electric car and save the planet. It's like, stop.
So we've had you for about an hour. I don't know what kind of time you have. You're always welcome to stay as long as you like, but if you have to get out of here, let's do a game here real quick.
Okay.
Let's do
it.
3 things that everyone can do every day to pull themselves a little bit further away from the technocratic state, Charlie, and then give us 3 locations you never want to hear someone go, oh.
Things that we can do to improve, to get away from this technocratic thing. First and foremost, and this is my arch enemy in the world, the corporate mainstream whore media is not your friend. They're there for a very specific reason. They're there to shape reality and guide you down a particular path. When you get outside of those acceptable talking points, you start to find resistance. You start to find people pushing against you. That's because it's very important for them to keep you thinking one way, turn off your nightly news. I'm not going to say turn your television all the way totally off. You want to watch sports, you want to watch a movie with your kids, you want to do all that stuff. That's fine. But the news part can go. Put the parental blocks on your television. When you go to your elderly mother's house, put the parental blocks on CNN and Fox News and MSNBC so that they can't ever watch this stuff. It's poison for your mind. Get away from that and you're already better off. Secondly, I'd say read. They're the information that we're kind of going on and on about Club of Rome and climate change and all this stuff. That information about the scam currently exists in written book form. You can go get it. You can buy the books, you can read the books, and then it's like, it's not, oh, you conspiracy theorists with your ideas about this. You're like, no. It's in the book that they wrote, not me. I've written books talking about what they wrote, but they wrote the actual books themselves. They're proud of it. So you can put yourself in a better situation to understand what's happening in this world. If you stop listening to what the media is trying to tell you, like, this is how the world is, or this is what's really going on. You can take that out. What are those people actually saying? Not what the media is saying that they're saying, but what are they saying? Let's read their books. Let's read, you want to read a book, read Kissinger, or read the National Security State Memorandum number 200 that Henry Kissinger put out on December 10th, 1974, talking about the America's policy towards the third world should be that of depopulation. Now, it's not, again, when you say that to someone the first time, they go, get out of here. And you go, no, it's a 123-page document. You can get it. I've got it. You can read it. And if you read that, instead of listening to the news, you read the document, you would know with 100% certainty that that is the United States policy towards the third world, is depopulation. So now you understand depopulation a little bit better. Now you've got the media turned off. Listen, third thing I would say, talk to people that are local around you. Start building that network as best you can. In America, we're very detached. A lot of us aren't, depending on where you live and how it's set up, we don't really know our neighbors very well. I like I said, I sold new homes in Las Vegas for a long time. I sold out entire communities. I knew everybody in the community. You know what I noticed? They didn't know each other. I knew all of them. Yeah. They didn't know anybody. They'd come down to the sales office. Maybe you'd catch one in there while another one came in to say hi to me, and I'd have to introduce them to each other. That guy lives 2 doors down from you. Oh shit, really? Cool. I've been moved in a year ago. Oh yeah, I moved in 18 months ago. Oh, it's funny. I haven't met you. Get to know your neighbors. You're going to need that. So I think it's important for us to establish these local kind of relationships that we have as best we can. Turn off the nightly news and start reading more. That's what I'd say.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And now 3 places where you never want to hear anyone go, oh.
San Francisco. I don't want to hear any complaining.
No.
Okay.
Like, they're breaking into our cars, they're shitting on the streets, they're shooting up on the sidewalk. Oh well. Too bad. I mean, you voted for this. You wanted this. We told you this was going to happen. We told you. You elected Chesa Bowden to be your woke district attorney, and then he told you, I'm not going to prosecute this crime. I'm going to let all these people out. And you voted for him. I don't want to hear anything from you guys. You reap what you sow. You want these guys in there. You tell everyone we're crazy for saying this is a bad idea. It's a Soros guy. He's got all this money coming from Soros, and Soros wants destabilization. He wants these cities burning. He's a color revolutionary specialist, and he's financing a guy who's going to be in charge of prosecuting crimes in your city, and it's not going to go well for you. How dare you come out here? You must be a anti-trans person. It's like, okay. enjoy burglaries going through the roof, enjoy kidnappings, enjoy CVS and Walgreens having to shut down because people are just loading up bags filled with stuff and walking out. Enjoy Target closing at 6 o'clock in San Francisco because they can't stay open at night because they get fucking robbed by people come in and just take everything that they want. Oh well. So I'm not interested in hearing complaints in San Francisco. Where else am I not interested in hearing complaints? I'm not interested in hearing complaints that parents that the school boards are upset that parents are showing up at school board meetings. I'm not interested in hearing the school boards having problems with that. You're in charge of their kids, and you're telling them crazy things, and you're promoting insanity and Common Core and wokeness, and there's 87 genders and all that stuff. You're going to have parents show up at the school board meeting. Don't you dare call them domestic terrorists. That's not just a term. That's a designation these days. America is a battlefield now, in case people didn't realize after the Patriot Act. And when you're a domestic terrorist on the battlefield, nothing applies. No laws apply to you. You want to get black bagged and taken away to Diego Garcia and waterboarded till you confess to killing Kennedy. I mean, they can do that to you if you're labeled as a terrorist. So I'm not interested in hearing school boards upset that people are showing up. We need more of that. We need more people involved. And let's see, what's the last thing on my list?
Well, really quickly too, to that point too, as well. When we're talking about Merrick Garland, right, with the whole Trump situation, having to explain that. One of the other things is shining moments is the fact that he said, sucked the put the FBI on parents showing up to some of those school board meetings too, as well. That was something that Merrick Garland's got dirt on his hands about, as well. This guy's no joke.
Yeah, that's a really important point too. Because you have to think about that. You go, okay, the FBI is supposed to be, I mean, we know they're the largest domestic terrorist organization in the country. We know that. But the guys out there, the people out there that don't really follow this stuff, they assume the FBI is the good guy. Oh, well, they're going to come, they're going to catch the terrorists and everything. Well, the FBI is turned on you now. And you go, well, I'm not a terrorist. I showed up at my daughter's school board meeting because I have a problem with the teacher, assigning homework that's, Maya Angelou word problems, talking about getting raped by her mother's boyfriend. And I just think that's inappropriate. Now I'm a domestic terrorist. Are you out of your fucking mind? You know what that means to someone? And now knock, knock, knock. Let me see your gun. We hear you might have guns, and you're like, holy shit, this is like the Gestapo stuff. This is NKVD, like coming to America.
Yeah.
Like Prince Joffrey Jafar.
So and also we've frozen your bank account until we can get this sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you think that can't happen, look at all the alternative media people that have had their PayPal accounts shut down. It's already happening. It's happening on different scales. So this is, again, I'm willing to have the conversation with people if they're interested in knowing more about this, but I'm not interested in having some sort of argument about, well, the FBI is right to do this. No, they're not. Period. End of story. Putting concerned parents on FBI watch lists is what you do when you're a failed state. And of course, America is becoming a failed state. So
they have the blue check shit lib army out on Twitter over the last couple of days being like, it would not bother me if the FBI came to my house. The FBI can come raid my house anytime. That's what they're saying. Like,
they don't know what they're talking about.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Now, I have been subjected to a home raid in my life. Not fun. Wouldn't recommend it for anyone else. There was a kid that we let stay on our couch 20 some years ago. Still lived in Bloomington, Indiana. There was a kid we let stay on our couch for a number of weeks. He was a fuck up, and we had to ask him to find a new couch. And he got hemmed up by the cops like a couple of days later, had some weed on him, was in a couple of different kinds of wasted, and in a particularly vindictive mood, told the cops that we were like kingpins, some kind of shit. The cops come like busting through the door. They've got a lot of them, couple other sheriff, state, whatever, and they found like a one hitter's worth of weed and a bunch of pipes and bongs and it was like 19 at the time. There was an unopened bottle of tequila that another guy on a different couch who was 27 had. It wasn't even open, but it was his, and they ended up charging me with minor possession of alcohol because there was no kingpin stuff that they could find whatsoever in that house. I had like, they found like postage scales, right? That I don't even know where they came from, but they were like, oh, well, this is proof that you're a drug dealer. And I'm like, you guys are
Like I can buy that at Staples.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a drug dealer.
Well, what about this whole thing though, guys? While we're here and talking about this, that those guys, come on, Blue, we fought for you. Those guys who applauded the police officers left and right. Now, the Patriots take to Twitter and say, abolish the FBI. You know what I'm saying? And the people who used to say the abolish the FBI, defund the FBI, whatever, which one you want to use, or I know one is a little bit more stronger than the other, but those people are now the ones who are saying the FBI. They're praising the FBI. Like they're, oh my God, the FBI, they can come to my house. They're here to protect us, Steve. Let them do their job. Merrick Garland and the FBI were just doing their job. Nobody's above the law. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tell that to Hunter.
Tell that to Hillary Clinton, who's fundraising off of her
I gotta go find that. I do.
gloating about her not finding any emails. What about her emails, hats, and everything?
Yeah.
I would love one of those hats if I knew that it wasn't going to support Hillary Clinton in any way, shape, or form. If I could steal one, I would. And the only way you could wear one of those hats is ironically and also having stolen it and not putting any money in their pocket.
I feel like they're gonna wind up. You know where? I don't know if you've been to a Goodwill recently. But
that's a deep fake. No,
it's
she posted it. Oh no,
I'm gonna.
Oh yeah,
there's a whole website you can go buy merch.
You buy the hat.
You can shop at shop.onward together. Pasta.
Oh
there's
my God,
a whole thing. I'll throw it at the very bottom, Connor. There we go.
Everybody, while Steve's putting this in the doc, we're here with Charlie Robinson of Macroaggressions.
For a few more, yeah, I did.
A couple more minutes.
I didn't even let Charlie answer as to how long he could hang out.
I could hang out. We can go.
We're gonna keep.
When you're buying that Hillary hat, make sure to use the promo code am WakeUp to get free shipping. I hate these people, man. The audacity. I fucking hate them. They're so awful.
You can pull it up.
So the Clintons?
Yes.
So go up to the tweet, please. Go up. This is Hillary Clinton's account. Every but her emails, hat, or shirt sold helps Onward Together partners defend democracy, build a progressive bench, and fight for our values. Legit. And she's using a 40-year-old catfish picture.
Yeah.
In the thing. But yeah, dude, that's real. That's real.
But again, it's on brand. Total false advertising, a complete lack of self-awareness, a desire for money, gaslighting your audience, telling them that you're going to be running again. Oh, well, fuck, maybe she is, for all we know.
All right, so how much is it?
Quickly.
It's $1 million a hat.
So, but her email
$30 a hat,
$30.
But you can get it in charcoal.
Can you get an autographed catfish picture?
Oh, look at it in charcoal with the pink.
So, the whole but her emails thing. Let's also not forget that according to the warrant that the Epstein lawyer friend judge signed to go raid Mar-a-Lago. According to that warrant, Donald Trump the warrant was served because he's being suspected of mishandling classified information. The whole but her emails thing kind of stems from the fact that Hillary Clinton was illegally housing private servers that contained classified information that she ordered destroyed and had multiple other devices destroyed with hammers. This is stuff that came out in testimony and other emails. Destroyed with hammers. She's on record ordering evidence destroyed, and she's marketing off of Donald Trump being served a warrant for mishandling classified information with her emails. That this is like 56D narcissism.
You have to almost kind of like, I don't know if respect is the right word, but you have to sort of stand in like appreciation of the audacity of this chick. She's out of her mind.
I put down it's genius. It's a little bumper sticker fucking little quote too they're using, and it's very easy for the people who want to get their confirmation bias, the team blues, to go, oh, her emails, so we got to start talking about this again. Even Bernie says that I'm tired of talking about your goddamn emails. Like, it's nothing. It's emails, guys. What Trump was doing was really, really bad. He's a criminal. Her emails.
But she's not even creative enough to come up with an idea. Trump made the hat famous.
Yeah.
She can't even come up with it. I mean, it should be like an apron for her. Should be like a noose for her.
Well, yeah,
like,
really.
Something. Home suicide kit. Get your Clinton home suicide kit with the, but her emails embroidered on it. Yeah. Promo code AM WakeUp.
Right.
Promo code. Or we could put macroaggressions, right?
Please. Yeah. Promo code macro.
Macro.
Yeah.
I mean,
I said micro, I think, last time. So
it's all right.
Correct myself. Mr. Pryor told me it's macroaggressions. You got people.
Yeah, it comes from. Yeah, it comes from that.
Got people looking out for you here.
I don't know if you've ever dipped into the live chat here, Charlie, but it's like it's like Fight Club. It is. They're all.
Oh yeah.
Christ,
I mean, they are.
If it's your first
motherfuckers,
but it's self-regulating. They are the best and
True
best looking audience on the interwebs by far. They really are, dude. It's a wonderful dance of mayhem. And they go after everybody. They go after me. They go after Pasta. They go after the guests. They go after each other. But everybody comes back every day to like share the love.
It's all right. I'm a big boy. I can take it. We can have fun. I respect that.
Well,
frankly, I mean, listen. If it's your first time in the live chat, you have to fight.
Right, pretty much, man.
There's no talking about AM Wake Up chat.
There's people that come in that try to troll, and the chat is just like, "Oh, I didn't know it was gonna be like that."
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Hold my baby. They're on it, dude.
Yeah.
They're on it.
Well, we got a Wednesday record over here, 260 with you, Charlie. So you're drawing the juice, baby.
Nice. Well, look, I love what you guys are doing here. I've been very vocal with Steve about this. I think it's great. I think we need this. This is when you're getting ready in the morning, you're on your way to work, you maybe got your computer pulled up or something. What are you going to watch? Are you going to watch the Today Show? Are you really? With Hoda and Kathy Lee getting hammered by 10 a.m. Or are you going to watch something else? This is fantastic. This is a great idea. I'm really glad you guys are doing this. I know that Pasta, you come out of the restaurant world where it's late nights and everything. And after college, I bartended for 8 years. So I know how that is to get on a morning schedule. It takes a little bit of time, but hopefully hopefully you're getting love from the audience and they're saying, they've
been awesome. And it's been great with you guys coming around too as well. It's been a lot of fun. And thank you for pointing out, this is definitely my idea, the morning show, just for the record. So I'm glad we're talking about it. But no, it's been fun. Like, we went out to see our friend yesterday. We had a soda each, you know what I'm saying? But his show started at 10. It was a long set by the time we got home. So we're a little queasy over here a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But
I'm fine.
Yeah, because you don't sleep at all. You're a machine. You're a fucking cyborg.
No,
that's why.
I did. My alarm went off at like 4:15, and I went no. Yeah. And then I didn't wake up till like 5:30 ish.
I know that's not like you.
I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. How are you guys liking Vegas?
We could be in Idaho. It wouldn't make a difference. We both have 2 shows. We both work our ass off. So it's like studio home. You know what I'm saying? And
it's funny. I went to the casinos more when I did all that fun stuff more when I lived in LA
Absolutely.
than when I lived in Las Vegas. People would be like, "Hey, I'm in town. Like, you want to come party and everything?" Like, I have to go to work tomorrow. Like, it might be your vacation. It's not mine. And they say, "What, the Strip and everything?" Yeah, I drive by it on my way to work and on my way back. I see it all the time. Am I there? No, not really. So I loved living there. I still run a real estate business there. So if anyone is interested, if anyone in Las Vegas that wants to buy or sell a home, go to alterluxury.com. You can find me. I run that company with my business partners who are the husband and wife team behind Flip or Flop Vegas, the show that was on HGTV for a couple of years. So
heck yeah. Here's what I like about it. And I can live basically anywhere. I can find something to like about basically wherever I am, except for perhaps the 15 months that I was in downtown San Jose. That was soul crushing. But outside of that, and so desert's right there. I like being in vast openness with like just me and the dog. Like, that's really cool. I enjoy that, you know, and when it's not 115, I can do that way more often. We can go see live stand-up 7 nights a week if we wanted to, and we could go for free for probably 5 or 6 of those nights if we wanted to. So that's really freaking cool. There is real stand-up comedy. There is, it exists.
He loves that.
I've watched it. I'm a fan of the game.
yeah, I went to see Tom Segura a week and a half ago.
Almost went to that show. Almost did. He was just here too when
he was.
When Jimmy+dore told us to come see him. It was at the same club, and I saw the ad on the way out.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Segura was fantastic.
Yeah, it's like, and you know, I mean, there's everything like in Vegas here. And I love the fact that where we live is like just right off the bullshit. So we live in that south part. So when we drive out to go to work in the mornings, you know, we get the sun just barely coming up and that beautiful look in the mountains. So it doesn't feel like we're in Vegas. So when people say, "How do you like it in Vegas?" It's like, I don't feel like I'm in Vegas.
You
and
only
even though
see
there's
one overpass.
Yeah. South Point is like a mile from our house, but you know, I mean,
you can get hit by a drunk driver at 7 o'clock in the morning, though.
Of course.
That is,
but nobody walks anywhere. We just drive to another spot to get.
Everybody drives, and they serve alcohol 24/7 in town. So
why would you walk anywhere? Everything's really far apart, and it's 111 degrees. Like,
I know.
That's what the tourists find out when they go to. They're on the Strip, and they go, "Oh, let's go to that casino over there. It looks like it's right there." And you're like, start walking, and then we'll see how far that all those casinos are like optical illusions. That big window that you think you see there for a room, that's 4 rooms in one window. That's not one room. You know, that place is miles away. You start walking to you're like, "Oh, the Rio, let's go to the Rio." You're like, "God damn, this is the dumbest idea I ever had." You get halfway there and you're ready to pass out. So yeah,
you gotta walk over the bridge. Yeah, over the bridge.
Yeah, Vegas is a great place. You know, there's 2 versions of it. There's what the tourists see when they come to town, and it's party central, and it's all this stuff, and everyone goes, "Oh, you live there?" Or you know, when I live there, you live there? That's weird. And you're like, if you live like where the houses are, it's like living in Phoenix or something. You know, it's like, it's hot and there's grocery stores. The only difference is there's slot machines
right
in the grocery store. So that's a problem. So if you have a gambling or a drinking problem, maybe not the best place, or it's sports betting addictions clearly get people, but if you can manage that, no state income taxes, great weather, half the price of California, a lot of free entertainment there. They want you to get in there. So
there's half price no more, by the way.
Yeah. No, it's like
25%, maybe not half price
less, maybe 20% less,
20% less. Well, at least there's no taxes.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, with our lifestyle too, as well. You know, we work a lot.
I can't really complain about Vegas being invaded by Californians, having fled California for Vegas.
Me too. As a Californian moving to Las Vegas and living there for a decade, I was essentially part of the problem.
Yeah.
But I also didn't drag my California, like, let's vote for Chesa Bowden. You know, I would never do anything like that to contaminate.
There was a lot of problems there before Chesa when it came to the
too,
as well. I don't want to put that on Chesa Boudin. You know, his
No,
father is
there
interesting
was Willie
situation.
Brown and Gavin Newsom, and I
Yeah,
mean, there's a
yeah,
whole
yeah. Kamala
legacy.
Harris.
There's a long history of scumbaggery going on in San
And then
Francisco.
nobody's really
Dianne
getting elected. The
Feinstein.
California elections are probably some of the worst fucking elections out there. They're pretty bad out there. I mean, there's just 17,000 ways till Tuesday to flip an election in
Dude,
fucking California.
I wish
It's the most
everyone
ridiculous thing.
who bitched about elections they've never gone to Venezuela to observe put a tenth of that energy into trying to sort out California's electoral system. I
Yeah.
really wish they did, because it's really easy to like complain about other countries, but their people are very reluctant, even if they'll admit that like Donald Trump got robbed. Okay, well, there was a crooked as hell primary on the Democrat side before that too. And then before that, there was the WikiLeaks emails in 2016 that said the media did a Pied Piper job on the entire Republican Party. And the entire Republican Party had to know about it. They're funneling money into the same media apparatus.
Yeah.
It's the unwillingness to take just a little bit longer lens is something that I really hope people are getting through. And I think that dude, let's talk about how fucking cool that Union of the Unwanted was the other night.
One of the best ones, really. I think it was
wow.
To have that Pfizer whistleblower on there. And I'm not trying to put anything bad out into the universe or anything like that, but I fully recognize how dangerous that is.
Yes.
That is not just like I'm gonna go to the press because my boss is a creep and tried to grab my tits. It's way bigger than that. This is the type of thing where Brandy Vaughn. We've seen this. We've seen this. People that understand the pharmaceuticals reach into vaccines in the early 2000s with doctors going missing, microbiologists turning up dead, all this stuff. The pharmaceutical industry does not fuck around with stuff like that. They will put you in a grave for talking out against them. So to have someone come out and file lawsuits and start pushing buttons and exposing this scam is incredibly heroic and also simultaneously insanely dangerous to do.
Panic inducing.
Yeah. And she was going into a little bit of it, and I don't know how much I don't even know if she told us the whole story on that, but we talk about like bravery and things like that. That's bravery because you're walking into a real problem situation and you don't know what can happen. You don't know who's going to get you. You don't know if your lawyers are going to fuck you on that at some point too. Right. Everybody's, you can get to anybody, and I think, what did she say? She found a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or she found a box of crickets.
Box of crickets.
Yeah.
She had someone ask her if she worked with Brandy post Brandy's did totally unnatural death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when she's talking about the stuff that's happened to her computer, like I'm looking at T-Lav and he's got that look on his face, and Pasta's looking at me, and I'm like, there's people who like will get offended at the chat comments, and it's like, motherfucker, I'm on my 9th phone. Fucking my second vehicle, but like there's a lot of things that that come along with even just talking about it, let alone being the whistleblower.
Yeah.
So to have her, and I love having conversations with whistleblowers. I really do. It's one of the immense gifts that doing this for a living now has. One of those huge gifts has been the conversations with legitimate whistleblowers that I've been able to have over the years, because they are freaking amazing. It's just like fascinating to talk to.
And you were nice enough when you were here in Denver last time to invite me, last summer, I guess, to invite me to come down and meet the Assange family, right? And you want to talk, I mean, whistleblowers, Mount Rushmore of whistleblowers, of course. And to see that, and to see that, like the I don't know, the vibe I got from them, it was heavy. Obviously, they were exhausted. And they weren't even the whistleblower. They're just the family of the whistleblower. So it is no joke. It's one of the most important things you can do. It's one of the most dangerous things you can do too. But for those that do it, there's a level of respect that comes along with that. That is really hard to quantify, man. I mean, I can't say enough good things about those people, because somebody like Julian Assange, or somebody like, our Pfizer whistleblower Brooke, you know it's going to be awful. You just don't know to what degree. And it depends on how important the secrets are. And I would say Assange got himself involved with the military industrial complex and their secrets. And Brooke is involved with Big Pharma and their secrets. And we both know that these are protected classes that are not allowed to have their secrets exposed. And if you do that, then the gloves come off and just about anything is on the table, including murder. And I hope that is not a case for her. I hopefully, I feel like it's one of those situations where it's like, I have information that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. Okay. Yeah. If you have that, you do one of two things. You either never mention that you have that to anybody ever for the rest of your life, or you immediately give that information out, scream at the top of your lungs and say, I've got it, here it is, it's out, I spread it everywhere. But you don't stand in the middle and say, I could release it, because then they get you.
Yep.
So in her case, my hope for her is that she is in that we've made enough noise, I'm too prominent for them to whack me. That is the only way out. In this case, is to make yourself so noticeable and make it so obvious. If something bad were to happen to you, it is undeniable that they're the ones responsible for it. That's your one way out, as far as I'm concerned, in her case at this point. So I hope she gets it. But like she said, it's not about the money for her. She's suing them for what? 1.7 billion, 1.9, I forget what it was. It's almost $2 billion. And she said that money is going into an account for people that have been damaged by these shots, not my money. Okay, that's a good thing too, because now you've made it obvious. You've announced that this is not about you. People can't say, "Oh, you're just trying to get rich from this."
Yeah. No,
that's a bad way to get rich. You know what I mean?
There is zero money in truth, man.
Zero. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What I like is that there's already court cases that are already open, already publicized. There's an ongoing network of multiple litigation that's taking place. Eventually, it's going to have to crack even into the new mainstream media that exists online. The Union of the Unwanted serves as kind of like an on-ramp to that. It really does. I mean, there's a direct line to the Joe Rogan show there. There's a direct line to the biggest podcast on the planet. We do have to all like sit our brother Sam down and be like, hey dude, next time you're on the biggest show on earth, mention Union and Rockfin. Do that. Could you please, buddy?
Should have wore a Rockfin hat.
Could you,
Best kept secret, Union of the Unwanted, best kept secret on the internet.
Right? For real, Sammy Triples, for real.
He knows. He apologized. He sent us a text. He said, I'm so sorry. I didn't, we love Sam. We love Sam. It's all good.
But there's also the Slow News Day bump, where if you come on Slow News Day, within 24 hours, you may
lose your channel.
Or you may get so famous you lose my number. And you get a show on the Blaze. This has happened with like 3 people where or four people where they've come on the show and then like literally the next day they've just exploded or something, like just clicked for them, and then like brand new media sphere and just off and running and very successful, and God love them. I'm just gonna take credit for their success.
Then Alex Stein, are you talking about
on the Blaze?
who?
Alex Stein,
Other
James
than him.
Lindsay, Chrissy
James Lindsay.
Marr, and then Richard Medhurst got like huge famous right after he went on the Assange.
Well, he don't
like the
return
day
my shit
before.
either. So
So yeah, there and he didn't get the Blaze contract, but he did get a Press TV contract.
yeah.
Well, I think Alex is with Blaze now.
That's
Yeah,
like
and so is Chrissy. And
is she too?
Yeah,
she's great. Does
Chris
she not
Marr
talk to you? And she
Chris
won't return your calls?
Chrissy Marr is running against this show right now. She
That's right.
She has a morning show on the Blaze right now.
Oh, I didn't realize that morning show was on the Blaze. Okay,
And I love Chrissy Marr.
I do too. She's fantastic.
Freaking rad. She's one of the good ones in terms of like female comics.
Yeah.
She's
been on Macroaggressions, and she's been on Union of the Unwanted, and we have a good time. And I
her show. She's been on my show.
I respect her sense of humor. She's fun. I like that she goes out with all those girls and they go to like the Star Wars conventions and shit like that and make the guys go nuts.
Hell yeah.
She's got all these porn stars on her show and everything. She's like, let's go to the Star Wars convention. Oh my God. They're going to need defibrillators for all those dorks out there that are going to, see them. And
when it comes to Alex, I really like his work, what he did when he goes into these city councils, and that's, what got him on the map and all the work he's doing now as well. I'm not crazy about the work, what he does when he goes and he starts arguing with citizens and, and people. I want to see him talk to them more than anything, rather than kind of like, the politicians, they deserve the egging. They deserve the rotten tomato treatment. They deserve to be caught there, in the position. But when it comes to our, fellow Americans or fellow humans and stuff, I want to see more conversation, because like digressing to the beginning of the conversation today, that, it's not their fault, and we have to find a way to talk to them rather than try to embarrass them.
Yeah. He's a troll. He's a world-class troll though. Yeah. I mean, he's taken that to like a performance art level that I have to just stand in appreciation of. I've got he and I did a 3-hour 9/11 show that
I listened to that on a cross California drive, man.
Woo! Good stuff.
Save it for a long trip.
Good stuff.
Save it.
It's fun, man.
You want it all at once. You don't want to split it up. Like once you're committed, you're all
in. You're all in.
There's no walking away from it at that point. In for a penny, in for a pound. And yeah.
Is it on Macroaggressions?
It's on Abs in a Six Pack. Actually, it's on Abs in a Six Pack. But I've got a copy of it, and it's gonna go out. I'm gonna do a special release of it because it's so funny. That's a fun show by Abs in a Six Pack. It comes on after No Agenda on Sundays on the No Agenda stream, and they just had me on. I should suggest you got to talk to Chris over there, because I just
you're not wrong.
Battle of the Douchebag 6, where you pick your 2 horses and you bring them to battle, and there's like a bracket tournament, and it's me and there's 3 other guys, and
hell yeah.
My 2 horses lost in the first round. I was very disappointed. I had Sean Penn and Steven Seagal, and both of them couldn't get out of the first round. It wound up losing to it wound up being a finals of Joy versus Joy. It was Joy Reid versus Joy Behar.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Well, I'm not going to spoil the show. I don't want to let everybody know who.
I have
wound up
no
winning,
idea what's going on.
No
right
joy
now.
in any of this.
Oh man!
But this sounds very interesting.
Steven Seagal got robbed.
I saw him doing some Aikido online the other day. He was still and showing Aikido tricks. He looks sharp.
Dude,
he looks 180 pounds overweight.
Yeah, Steven
He's fat and he's still doing Aikido shit. He's a weirdo.
Right up to the end, like Ric Flair. They were all on like Instagram, just like looking hella old. And like still trying to, motivate, like still woo and like, yeah, brother, all that shit. Just like, bro, just go fish.
Steven Seagal was great in Machete. I don't know what you're talking about. This ain't shit, Machete.
Machete was like 14, 15 years ago.
I
now,
know.
though.
That's how.
I mean, come on, man. Let's put
He
this
was
in
still
the
old
right
then,
perspective.
though. That was the thing. Even when he was doing that, I'm like, oh, you're still around? I thought you were being a cop somewhere in Nolens or something.
The
A sheriff somewhere.
Will Sasso, Mad TV, Steven Seagal stuff was freaking hilarious. Do you remember any of that?
No.
Do you know who I'm talking
No.
about? Will Sasso. He was Mad TV's fat guy when Artie Lang wasn't Mad
Yeah.
TV.
Okay. I know the. Yeah.
Okay, he did the Fred Durst impressions and all that stuff.
Okay.
Dude, he did a Steven Seagal that was just hilarious. Like, it's totally worth going to look some of that up on your downtime. Hey Connor, would you pull up the "Hey, that sounds like geoengineering" article, please? I saw the United Arab Emirates, as we've talked about on this show many times. There you go. Has a cloud seeding project that make it rain there every day at 3:00. That's one of the features of visiting Dubai, is that, you know, you can have rain in this desert oasis every day. But they've been ramping up their geoengineering because they want to be one of the World Economic Forum food hubs.
Got it.
So they're going to boost their annual rainfall. For 2 decades, the country's been at the forefront of rain enhancement science, Charlie, not geoengineering.
No, because that doesn't exist.
Right. Rain enhancement science. National Center.
Atmospheric aerosol injection programs, but definitely not chemtrails.
Right. That's just crazy.
That is so great, guys.
Crazy talk.
Aerosolic adjustments.
The UAE's cloud seeding operations began in 1990 and were developed in cooperation with international organizations, including the National Center for Atmospheric Research in the U.S. state of Colorado, and, of course, our good friends at NASA. But again, geoengineering doesn't exist.
It's contrails, guys.
Nor do any sort of chemtrailing programs. No. We're good. We could dub out of this.
That's a bad idea. I met those guys that were when I was at the Worldwide Property Show in Shanghai. I met the guys from Emar and Nikhil, the development companies that were building all the Palm Islands, Palm Jumeirah, and the World and Palm Dira and all that stuff. All those different projects. Those guys were all there selling houses, selling islands. Actually, we're like, how are sales going? He's like, well, we had some guy come in and just buy all of Australia. I was like, that sounds good. Like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's like 30 islands that make up Australia. Some guy just bought them all. Oh, okay. You guys, this sounds like a bad idea to be building these fake islands and then building mansions on them, and you guys don't have rain.
Right.
Well, I guess maybe they do have rain.
They do.
What do you think about the 250-mile long, 50-year, the $1 billion Saudi project?
That's a hard no for me on that. You want to put me in they're like, look, it's like mirrored. It's amazing. It looks like City Center in Vegas. You know, you're like, it's like a mile long thing. You're like, oh, so it's a prison. You want to put me in a 140-kilometer long prison in Saudi Arabia in the summer? Well, what could possibly go wrong there? It sounds great. And you can't have alcohol either there. I mean, they didn't mention any of that.
No. They have this
no alcohol. Fuck that. No way.
Have this
they did solve the problem of women not being able to drive because nobody's going to be driving there.
Right. That's true. Well, who will need to if there's like the Futurama tube system to get you from one end of the recreation of the ancient city of Noam to the other. Yeah.
They said, oh, well, if you want to see nature, we'll have excursion trips where you can go. I'm like, do you get to come back from the excursion trips, or is it like a one-way trip to a big pit somewhere where they just throw you in? Right. I'm not interested in participating in Saudi Arabia's vision of the future. Call me old-fashioned. But
well, there's something about very, very strict Wahhabist theocracy tied to complete exploitation of natural resources through genocide in Yemen in a partnership with the United States government, that lends me to think that this would perhaps be less than benevolent in terms of its treatment towards its citizenry.
I think what they should probably do is they should fire their marketing department for the line, the Saudi building. They should get together with the people that were in charge of the marketing campaign for the Australian COVID camps, because they turned that into an Abercrombie and Fitch campaign. You know what I mean? It was like, look at these 20-something chicks just living their best lives in their quarantine facilities. And they're like, just sitting in my patio, just reading a book and everything like that. Though it was also a concentration camp, seemed way more appealing to men that might want to meet women. Whereas in Saudi Arabia, it's like, you know, chicks don't dig it.
Yeah.
And therefore the guys don't dig it. So I don't know, maybe sex it up a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Saudi Arabia, sex it up a little bit, you know, as much as you can there. I'm definitely going to get murdered for this conversation.
A little bit of ankle, you know,
show a little bit of ankle. Don't drive the men too crazy.
Expose a little foundation on that wall.
Oh my God. I can almost feel the drone strike coming to my house right now. Fuck.
Oh man. So Connor, there's a clip that I have highlighted in the doc, but before we're pulling this up, the CBS documentary that they had to apologize for and kind of pull, that they had started shooting way back in April about how corrupt Ukraine is and about how none of the weapons are getting anywhere that they're supposed to go, and the justification in the piece, in the clip that they showed of the guy going, yeah, well, sure, 70% of them don't get to where they're supposed to go, but the 30% that are coming in is, well, it's a fuck ton. So that's all that really matters, is there's still a crap ton of weapons getting in there.
Dude, eBay Ukraine is going off.
It is. It really is. We showed video months ago on the sale of, I think, a couple of RPGs.
Yeah.
That were brokered via web chat from Ukraine to Syria with love. This is Joe Biden. Chuck Schumer just got done lying to somebody about something. And this is let's run this real quick. Shake hands with Joey B.
Jason Whitlock.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Joe's
now our great speaker, our partner, who all of these bills we've met.
Let's run that back.
Joe wanted to go back for seconds.
I needed 2 scoops. He's like, hey, wait a minute, this guy.
Now our great speaker, our partner, who all of these bills we've met.
What the fuck's going on, Schumer? We still
now our great speaker, our partner, who
out of that, Connor.
I mean, Schumer didn't leave him hanging necessarily. I mean, he gave him some love first and foremost.
Yeah, and it took all of one handshake. So this is
so
what
he
happened.
forgot.
This is what happened. Schumer turns around, he shakes Joe's hand. Then he goes to what Joe sees immediately, because he has no idea where he is or what's happening. He sees Schumer go to the end of the line, shake that guy's hand next to him, so he thinks it's his turn.
Right.
And that's what happened. He just, there's
I know, I saw this.
There's nothing between moment to moment. Joe Biden is pure Zen all the time now.
Zen. That's an interesting choice of words there, pal.
You know, when you achieve that state of consciousness where there's nothing in your brain,
yeah,
that's where he is.
Yeah.
But he didn't get there through meditation. He got there through, I don't know, old age and
not through
long hits or I don't know.
Maybe
not long hits for that guy.
We're on
through adrenochrome.
We're on
adrenochrome. Yeah.
We're on Joe Biden number 5 now, or something like that. because like even the double that they sent out that got the Paxlovid rebound or whatever, they're giving them the adrenochrome from the vaxxed kids at this point.
Yeah.
Like the unvaxxed kid adrenochrome, all of that got scooped up in the European market. Peter Thiel's got freezers full of it. But the U.S. politicians, they're not getting it anymore. This is part of the controlled demolition of the American empire, is the takeover by the true global elite. And because most of the Americans aren't bloodline enough, they don't get to play. They just got to be middle management. So they're not getting the unvaxxed kid adrenochrome anymore. When's the last time you saw Bill Clinton, dude? He looks like somebody took like a well marbled steak and just beat the ever loving crap out of it.
Yeah,
And then give it AIDS.
Right?
Yeah. Very distinct lines in his face.
Dehydrated it a bit.
Just does not look good at all.
We're cheer, we're commentating from the apocalypse. We're like announcers calling the game that we see in front of us. I don't know how to describe it any other way than it's just like coordinated insanity, and it's embarrassing to watch. But also the writer in me, and the writer in me loves it, because there's no shortage of material, and my sense of humor. I see all the insanity and I have to laugh at it all. I fully recognize that a lot of this is really bad for humanity and it's going to hurt people, and I don't like that, and I am serious about that stuff. But the Joe Biden shaking hands with imaginary people, and this happening over and over again, and Kamala Harris announcing herself and that she's wearing a blue suit and everything. You
can't write that shit.
I can't be this funny. I could never dream to be that funny. You couldn't write that. That's too good.
I've admitted several times that like the part of me that shows up here every morning just to tell jokes, like really kind of wants there to be just a bloodbath coup in the Democratic Party when they go to do their fake election in 2024. And I just I want that to be the implosion and shit show that I believe it will be, because I really do think 2024 is going to be let's make America one party for real. And it's going to be DeSantis and Tulsi Gabbard, and it's going to be either CIA Pete or Gavin Newsom, or maybe they'll try Harris, but they won't get her. No, Ro Khanna's not going anywhere. No. Liz Cheney or Adam Kinzinger. Mitt Romney, somebody that was up, but Democrats love them some Liz Cheney. She's she's the only star Democrat on the January 6th committee panel right now.
Well, Kinzinger.
That guy's I feel like every time I see him, he looks like he's about to cry. Yeah. Kinzinger. I don't know.
Or he's about to pop up in front of somebody's garden cam eating their vegetables.
For sure.
The marmot
too.
Just looking at the camera and just eating the vegetables.
He is a little ferret face fucker, man. He really is.
Yeah, back to what Steve was saying, though, we were talking about that you can't write this stuff. I love when Steve starts the show. The other day he started the show, and it was one of those days, and he said, "The cartoon giveth, and sometimes the cartoon taketh, but it's mostly giveth."
It's been a lot of give, man.
Been a lot of give. The cartoon.
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of like it when the simulation glitches. You get to see the humor in it all. You get to point out the
thing as a glitch. It's doing what the computer was told to do by somebody else hacking in it. No such thing as a glitch.
Well, there is no such thing. That's very true. That's very true.
Same thing with elections. No such thing as a glitch. It's just doing what it's
true as well.
It's just somebody off the radar telling it what to do that you don't know.
Do we want to play a clip of Sugar Bear, or do we want to do that clip of Pelosi talking about China being the freest society?
I think we should start with Sugar Bear.
Okay.
And then
ignore the highlight and go up two.
It's you moved it up.
Oh, scroll down.
I want to hold out hope that she's bad at her job because she's a good person and has a hard time lying. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt there. I don't really actually believe that, but
The second one is good. actually.
convince myself.
Is this because it's been made public that I look at her? She's in like the 1992 freaking In Vogue get up. Why is she so fucking cute? Pasta. Why? Why is she so fucking cute? Okay, so I used to do a bit. I no longer do this bit. I used to joke that I could fix her, right? And then like people were like, you realize that you're not actually going to be able to bang this lesbian straight and fix her at the same. I'm like, no, you're totally missing the point. It's not what I'm saying. It's a fucking joke anyway. But the like she's their shield, and she's just terrible at her job, dude. Just never ready for prime time. They threw her out after Jen the robot Nazi, who was just a soulless machine.
Yeah.
Well, she had also practiced at the State Department for years, and you know what I'm saying. This was the #1 ranked social justice warrior, which is a new kind of crop they're using for this position. So, wondering who's next, who's going to replace her. I almost got took a bet 8-1. I was going to give, given that she'd be gone by August 1st. I do owe you $1.
The next press secretary is going to be a trans robot,
a one-eyed, wheelchair-bound, asexual. I don't know.
It's just going to be a furry. They're just going to drag a furry out there. Be like, fucking go tell him some shit.
Let's play Sugar Bear.
Let's
get it back. Let's get it back up. Let's watch Sugar Bear. Thank you, brother.
Is there a concern here that if you guys don't say more, then these Republicans who are accusing this White House of weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI, that's going to become the public sentiment? If you guys don't say once and for all, we are not doing that.
First of all, we're just not going to comment on the Department of Justice
From
investigation.
here.
We're just not going to comment on
Is
that.
this White House weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI against political opponents?
The president has been very clear from before he was elected, very clear on this. Hold on. Throughout his time in office.
I heard the quote. We will be playing the quote tonight at 6 o'clock. Is this administration weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI against political opponents?
Peter, the president believes in the rule of law. The president believes in the independence of the Department of Justice.
Yes or no?
She's trying.
No, that is no. It's a yes or a no for you. I'm answering the question. You may not like it, but I'm answering the question, and I'm answering the question, and I'm telling you that we are not going to comment
From here.
on a criminal investigation. The president has been very clear. I laid out what his thoughts were back on January 7th in 2021 about how he saw the Department of Justice. And I'm just going to leave it there. We're not going to comment from here. from this
There it
White
is.
House on a criminal investigation that is currently happening.
Wow.
That is that
Jesus Christ.
I give that 6.8 Pasakis. Charlie Robinson, how about you?
Well, look, she like you said, she's bad at her job. Her job is to lie. And again, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt and say the reason why she's bad at her job is because she's actually maybe a good person. And as a good person, lying is difficult for her. She's not a soulless Saki robot. She wants to do the right thing. She's taken the wrong job, though. This is not this is a place for soulless, pathological liars that love the empire. She had now again, she was put in this position.
She took that job, though. I mean, Charlie, she volunteered to work for a bunch of blood-sucking psychopaths, so she's not any better. You know what I'm saying? And
she's gonna get it. She's gonna get what she deserves. But I'm trying to be nice to her.
You shouldn't.
And say that she's bad at her job for that reason. She's clearly bad at her job.
You know when she got on the map to a bunch of leftists, okay? when it was at the DNC convention in Long Beach, and Kamala Harris was making a speech, and some hippie jumped on the stage with the ponytail and grabbed the microphone and was starting to give Kamala Harris the lesson, and she was the one who shielded with her one arm. She held on to her paperwork and her questions, but then she shielded the hippie from Kamala Harris, and then she just broke. Then she went to TV and started talking about it, and she used every identity politic bullshit she could. There's this white guy with all his privilege jumping on the stage, and
Okay,
I mean, she
now
was
it-
just
now it
one
makes-
of those people.
Now it makes sense that they're using her as a metaphorical shield, since she put
Absolutely.
herself as an actual human
Absolutely.
shield.
She
You
put
think-
herself in the position. You don't
Okay.
become the number one ranked AP, USA Today, insider trader, social justice warrior, number one ranked across the board, coaches poll too, unless you use some fucking identity politics and fucking work that shit. And she worked that shit.
Well,
was-
she might be number one in the coaches poll, but when the game started, she got exposed. She really sucks at her job. And again, they sold her to the public as not KJP. They said the first black
gay,
gay
yeah.
whatever person. It's like, does she have a name, or is she just a black? I mean, did she just tick all the boxes?
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, before she was hired, they said they wanted to get someone like that.
Yeah.
So I understand if that's like, like all things being equal, tip the scales because she's black and a lesbian. Okay. But when the criteria is we're looking for someone specifically who's black and lesbian, then you're clearly not looking for the best person for the job. You've already announced that.
Politics bingo.
It's basically like somebody in the Biden administration had a dartboard or like one of those prize wheel things, and it just had a bunch of ethnicities or sexual preferences, and they just sort of like threw a couple, and whatever three stuck, they were like, okay, go find that one.
Right. Now, if she happened to be the best candidate out there and was also all of those things, great. But that wasn't how it was sold. It was always, we got to find one that has all of those things and then make them into the best candidate. And it's like, well, then you get what you get here, which is someone that is going to spar with Peter Doocy for the next, I don't know, 6 months until the job destroys their soul, and then they take a job on MSNBC.
Yeah. The dude, like Brittany Griner, same thing, dude. If they can exploit her, as a black, gay, lesbian woman, now she's trapped from the evil Vladimir Putin. You know what I'm saying? Anytime they can exploit that, but at least they know who their base is. They understand.
They're like, she's Brittany Griner. She's not a political prisoner. I'm like, you better hope she is considered to be a political prisoner, because at least at that point, she has value. If she's not a political prisoner, she ain't got no value. She's not getting traded for anything. She works in the sports industry, understands trades. I worked in the sports industry too. I understand trades. You have to have something of value. If you don't have anything of value, they cut you. They don't trade other people for you. So she better hope to God that she remains a political prisoner, because as a political prisoner, she's worth something. Other than that, she's just a 6'9" lesbian who got caught smoking weed in Russia, or with weed, and she's going to do 9 years, and that's the end of her.
Yep. Straight up. Well, it's about 7 till the top of the hour, and time for us to get the heck up on out of here. Charlie,
thanks guys for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
270 people today, Charlie.
As Connor brings up the tunes,
you're the magic man.
Well, you guys can all go, please, if you're watching this on Rockfin, Macroaggressions is on Rockfin, also Union of the Unwanted. Take a second when you're done with this and subscribe to those shows. You can follow me on Twitter at Macroaggression. We have fun on there, don't we, Steve? For as long as we're allowed to. And the show goes out in audio format wherever podcasts are served, and in video format on Rockfin, Odyssey, Iconic, and Band.video. So
you're the man.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, dude. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you spending as much time as you did with you. Always welcome on the show. If you've ever got just some shit you want to talk and you've got like 15 or 20 minutes or something, hit me up. I'll throw you a link. Because we want to cultivate that kind of like drop-in atmosphere. So
Well, when I'm in Vegas too on business, or my mom's now back out there again, then we'll do it in studio too. So.
Hell yeah.
You're always
Yeah.
welcome here, brother.
Hell
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you,
Take care.
Charlie.